This is a Crafter acoustic guitar, serial number SGA-008/N. It's what you would call a charity shop find in this country. In America you'd call it a thrift store or something like that. But basically it's where people donate stuff they don't use anymore. And so it can get a second life. It's beautiful. Hello folks, and welcome to the channel. My name's Michael, and today we're going to be doing some work on this Crafter acoustic guitar. Just a simple thing, little clean up, oil the fretboard and put some new strings on. My wife and my daughter were out shopping and they came across this. My wife spotted it in the British Heart Foundation's charity shop, and my daughter went in, saw it, and she went, "That looks like a very good guitar. I think my dad'd be interested in that," and so she just bought it. And this guitar has been well looked after, it's in mint condition, and it's 21 years old. It's got very, very little wear. The frets are perfect. The nut, I don't know what the nut is, I think it looks like bone, but there's a few strings missing. All I need to do is take the strings off, give the fretboard a bit of nourishment, a bit of oiling, and put new strings on it, and that's it. Guitar's good to go. So it's not going to be in my collection, it's going to go to my granddaughter, and she's learning to play the guitar at the moment, so this will be good. And it's got a lot of interesting features, this guitar. They're hand built in Korea. The company's been around since 1972. They're a very well known make, and they make very good guitars, so this is another one of those. There's the back of it, two pieces, lovely job. Interesting tuners, they're also by Crafter, and they've got this kind of perloid stuff on there. Some of you guys might know what that is, but I've never seen that before, but very nice. What are the specs on this thing? We have got a Sitka spruce top, solid mahogany back and sides, beautiful jumbo body shape, mahogany neck, fretboard is rosewood, and pinless bridge. There it is, pinless. They go straight through the end there. And binding, solid maple on the binding. Okay, so we've got solid inlays on the rosewood fingerboard and inlays here around the rosette. We've got these Crafter high quality tuners which look amazing, they look really good. This one, according to the serial number, was manufactured in 2001. So there you go, this guitar's 20 years old and it looks fabulous. Put new strings on it, you've got a brand new guitar. But with the sound and tone of a 20-year-old guitar, it sounds great. I don't know if you can hear this. There's no fret sprout, the frets are beautiful, and the fretboard has been rounded. So this is a well-built guitar, and there's not a lot of them around. They only make, I think the factory I looked at, they said they only make about 250 guitars a day. So they're not very common, but they're very well built. They're all built by hand, and I'll put a link down to the factory tour down in the description so you have a look. It's all built by hand and beautifully done. And the owner of the company, which is the son of the founder of the company, because it's still a family run business, says we could make more guitars but then the quality might suffer, so we'd rather make less guitars and keep the quality up, which is a brilliant philosophy to have, because that, you know, you're going to get a decent guitar, and this thing is blinding. Very good indeed. Let's take these strings off. It's a bit loose. Tighten that up. The tuners work nice and smooth. I didn't count the ratio, but they're fast enough. That's a bit loose, needs tightening up. I need to get something on that. Yeah, we've got no specialised tools here, but a pair of pliers ought to do it. Solid. These strings just go straight through the bridge. That's it, the whole string's off. Get a damp cloth literally virtually no water on it at all. Just give it a gentle wipe over, because we don't want to get any water into the wood, so we're just taking the surface dirt off. Wipe the frets down. You can hear how nice those frets are. Look, it's not catching at all. This back has got a curve on it, but you know the guitar is good because the soundboard is flat as a pancake, so this guitar is properly hydrated. Not bad for 21 years. This thing maybe, you know, when you see something like this, you think, well, maybe it was stuck in a guitar case for 20 years, because it looks absolutely mint. Just notice a little dink there. I suppose you can even see it. So there's the dirt that came off the fretboard. Not much. And we're just going to put some boiled linseed oil on there to give it a bit of moisture. There's virtually no water on this, but I'll just give it a wipe over with a cloth, paper towel. Make sure there's no water at all. It's got a satin finish. It's not gloss, it's got a satin finish. Just could do with a little bit of oil. The bridge hasn't lifted. Got this nice little saddle here, which for intonation, perfect. I'm going to oil these frets, and it's going to take about 12 hours to dry properly, so we'll see what happens. This is boiled linseed oil, and I'm just going to put some paper towels underneath where I'm working, because we don't want any spillages or splatters anywhere, and just give this a shake. Make a little pad like that, just a little touch, and rub it from side to side. Not this way, because if you rub it this way, you're rubbing the oil out of the grain. You want this to go into the grain, and the little goes a very long way, as you can see. Now I'm just going to rub a little bit on this here. You don't need a lot of this linseed oil, just a tiny, as you saw, just a little tiny touch. Let that sit for a couple of minutes, and then we'll wipe off the excess. Might as well do the headstock while we're at it. I haven't put any more linseed oil on, I'm just using what's in the cloth, because this linseed oil goes a long way. A little bit goes a long way. But look at the colour of that now. Okay, this is a matte finish, so it's not going to get glossy or shiny, but it will nourish the wood. Just a quick health and safety tip, it's been a few minutes. When you've used cloths with linseed oil, wash them out immediately afterwards with soapy water, yeah, and don't stack them together, because if you read the bottle on the back, it says any items with linseed oil could spontaneously combust. So you need to wash those out. This one, wasn't it, the blue one? And then just put them outside somewhere separate to dry. And then dispose of them if you want to. Okay, it's been a few minutes now, and you see I put a tiny amount of oil on there, but look. So we get a cloth or a tissue, and we just wipe that excess off. See? Like that. And you saw that I didn't put much oil on there at all. Just a little couple of drops, and it's done the whole fretboard. Puts a little bit of moisture back into that. protect the wood, waterproofs it as well. It's got marks of wear, it's got wear marks where it has been used. There's little divots in there, can you see those? So it was played. Extra light gauge, 10 to 47 Diodario's. I like these strings, they sound really good. And they've got that coating on them so you don't get, you know, they last a long time apparently. We'll leave it to dry out, it takes about 12 to 14 hours, and we'll put the strings on. You may recall from earlier in the video that as I was cleaning it, I saw some what I thought were wear patterns on this fretboard, and so when I had a closer look I realised there weren't wear patterns at all, it was just like gunk. It's got marks of wear, it's got wear marks where it has been used. So I've got some P600 wet and dry paper and just give it a little gentle touch. It's come up completely clean. So now we're going to restring it. Let's think about these Diodario. They're colour coded so you can see which string goes where. There you go. And with this saddle, this bridge, all you do is you poke it in this end, like that. It goes right in. Check that nut. Actually, while we're here, let's put some graphite in that. Sometimes the strings can get caught up in the nut. So this is a pencil. I know that everyone thinks they're made of lead. They're actually made of graphite. But if you take your pencil and rub a bit of graphite into those nuts, slots, that will help lubricate the slot and it'll help the string to slide through and not get caught up. There are specialised products for this, but you've got to do what you've got to do. Okay, whenever you're doing a restring like this, first thing to do is to get your tuning pegs all lined up so the holes are all facing down the fretboard. Just makes things easier. You go in, then you turn the string in like this, and you go under like that, and then you come over the top like that. You're making a little locking nut there. The idea of this stringing method is quite simple. You go through 90-degree angle, turn in, you go underneath the string like that, pull it over the top and then wind on. And the object of the exercise is to get all the strings on the inside, so you're winding in. And just on half a turn, because you had the holes lined up going down the fretboard, on just literally half a turn it nips up this end of the string, acting as like a locking nut. It's an old idea. Before you do anything else, give the strings a bit of a stretch. So all you do, grab them like this and just bend them like this a bit. Each one. Don't have to go crazy, just give them a little bend. You can hear it clicking into the nut. Just give them a little stretch. It will take a few days for the strings to settle, but you know, you might have some tuning stability for a little bit. When you're putting your strings on, they should all be on the winding so that the strings are on the inside of the posts, for any of you that don't know, because that's the way it's designed. You do see people wrap them around any old how, but you're supposed to keep this as straight as possible. So all the strings must go in, around, over and wind in on the inside of the headstock. Sounds beautiful. Sounds really, really nice. Still holding tune. Harmonics. Sounds great. The action's about, I would say, about 2mm, which is not terrible. It's normal, 2mm. I prefer mine to be about 1.5mm, and I could get away with that with this, but it's not for me. So, I mean, when people start to play guitar, it's very rare that they come down this end anyway. It's a nice guitar, it's a nice playing guitar. This end, it really can take some beating. Oh, and if you was wondering how much my daughter paid for this, she paid £150, which is about $200 in a charity shop, because all the money is going to a charity, and so, you know, you don't go in there and try and make a deal. But at £150 or $200, you might say, well, you could get a brand new guitar for that. You can, but it won't be as good as this. This is something special. This is a very, very nice, well-built guitar. And yeah, and plus the thing, price isn't always the answer to everything, right? There are values other than money. Beautiful guitar, back to life. Now, I did say that this is for my granddaughter. Let me show you her actual guitar that she's got right now. This is her current guitar. So she's got a bit of growing to do. She's only 4, but she does love to play guitar, just child sized. So it's a proper guitar, I think it's 15 frets or something like that. But she just loves this, but she's going to have to grow a little bit before she can use this. Beautiful, eh? Sounds great. I hope you found this video useful. Be careful when you're using linseed oil. Make sure you read the instructions properly because it can be potentially dangerous. So just be aware of that. And if you're interested in restoring guitars and bringing guitars back to life that need a bit of work, take a look at this playlist. You'll see some other examples that I've done. Nothing hectic, you don't need many tools, but just stuff you can do at home. There it is, all cleaned up. Wires cut, polished up the fretboard, give it a little gentle clean. Fabulous guitar. It sounds fantastic. The job's a good one. See you next time. Bye now.